Hey y'all, welcome back to Weekly Hyperfixations. If you're new here, I'm Riot. First and foremost, thank you all so kindly for being patient with me last week. Those of you who have been here before know that I have been working on a theater production, of which I am the lead, and that's new for me. And last week was our tech week and our first performances. So I had to cancel last week's episode to make sure I had time to breathe, and thank goodness I did that. This week I am filming a day early because I have a pickup rehearsal tomorrow, but otherwise I knew I would be able to get this week's episode to y'all much easier than last week. And I only have four more performances, I think. So by next week I will be completely done. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm fidgeting with these Hangyodan. Oh, hold on. Will you focus on my little guy? Oh, no. My little guy. Whatever. You can kind of see him. But I have these little Hangyodan like hair clips that I'm fidgeting with because I've had a lot of nervous energy the past week and I haven't had that in a long time, so I kind of need to like stim to get it out. Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but meh. It literally could be that the weather's getting warmer. I don't know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Kind of just mostly silly, goofy things this week, really. I guess we can start with the only negative thing I have written down, which is a new game came out called Crimson Desert. Seems to be some sort of RPG. And I was like, oh, this looks really good, actually. I wonder what this game is like. And I was just, scrolling a social media app, and not even half an hour after I was like, oh, this game looks interesting, I found a post that was showing a particular painting in the game that is very clearly AI generated. So I immediately lost interest in that game. But I wanted to highlight that because, the game had just barely launched and things like that. And it's already like, I think that they thought they could do it and get away with it because of everything that happened with Expedition 33. Which I also have not touched Expedition 33 because you can't make me. I don't care that they stopped using AI. They did and were originally pretty shady about it. So I don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to take a moment to mention that because it's concerning. And also it'll be really funny next to some other things I have written down for this week. This is also, it was going to be more of like this week and last week, but as you may imagine, I was barely paying attention last week because it was opening week. So, okay, I'm gonna guess based on the, based on what I'm looking at in my notes. I'm just gonna go based off of that, which things I think were last week. So first and foremost, the Spider-Man brand new whoa. Y'all, I don't know what is wrong with me recently. I don't know what's wrong with me. I have so much nervous energy and I don't know where that's coming from. Also, my voice went up for that sentence. That was weird. Whatever. I'm excitable for some reason. I don't know where that's coming from. As I was trying to say, the Spider-Man brand new day trailer came out. Hey, I haven't been this excited for a superhero movie in a really long time. Because lo and behold, you've chosen a dangerous version of Peter Parker that is mutating, which is crazy. And I know the comic book like implications when stuff like that happens, you know what I mean? And so I'm also really excited because they're letting him be depressed and struggling and things like that. And that's also very, very extremely important to me. So I'm very excited for it. I need to see Sadie Sink now, please. Thank you. Another thing, Marvel Rivals season 7 announced and all that jazz. And is out actually. We've got Strategist, White Fox, and Felicia will also be added at some point during the season, probably 7.5. Black Cat. Very exciting. I also think that we should logically be getting Kingpin very soon, but time will tell. I'm very excited about this season because there's a lot of skins that I like on the battle pass, and that hasn't happened since Krakoa. And the only reason I liked that battle pass is because it was mostly mutants, and that's my favorite. So, you know, let's see here. Overall though, I'm really excited about season 7 because I actually want to participate. I haven't really gotten to yet because I'm still doing theater, but I am excited regardless. Oh yeah. It was probably more than just like last week, but NVIDIA released that DLSS5, which is like that weird AI enhancement thing that will automatically put an AI filter over your video game that you're playing. Disgusting. Capcom recently released a statement saying that they were unaware of it and do not approve of it in any respect. So W for Capcom, right there. Oh my goodness. The release date for the 4th Sonic movie was announced. And in that confirmation that both Lee Majdoub and Jim Carrey were both coming back to reprise, you know, Stone and Eggman, respectively. And they've also, and I think I may have mentioned this last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, I guess. They announced that among the voice acting cast, okay, so voicing animated characters, basically, were, what is his name? The guy that plays like a million roles in Marvel. He plays the Mandarin. He plays a something Ben Kingsley or something like that. Something like that. Him and Nick Offerman. When I first saw Nick Offerman on that list, I was like, oh, is he playing the president? No, he's in the voice cast, which means he's voicing an animated character. Who are you voicing? You know what I mean? And, you know, this is the one that this is going to have Amy and Metal Sonic. Surely Metal Sonic could probably be one of those guys. I have no idea. But there's 2 guys who can fit that voice, basically. I really hope that they don't bring in Neo Metal Sonic. I think that's it. Metal Sonic Neo. There's a Metal Sonic that is like he can he is goop. Man, explaining Sonic things is really weird. There's a version of Metal Sonic. I think it's Metal Sonic Neo. Don't quote me on that, but there's a version of Metal Sonic that's goop, and he can transform and pretend to be other people. And he explicitly does so with impersonating an Eggman robot at some point. And my very yaoi focused brain went, now hold on. Is Jim Carrey actually coming back as Eggman? Or is he coming back as someone pretending to be Eggman? Because I swear to God, if you give me, you know, Eggman and Doctor, I'm thinking of an anime. If you give me Dr. Eggman and Agent Stone yaoi, and it gets revealed that that's not actually Eggman, and that thing pretending to be Eggman is pandering to the relationship stuff, pandering to Agent Stone's feelings, I am going to be so mad. Because that is my least favorite thing, is someone pretending to be a person who this other character has a crush on. And then that character, not knowing that it's normally not reciprocated, starts doing the reciprocating. And it is then revealed that, hey, that's not who you think it is. Is that how badly you want Agent Stone to be a villain? Really? Is that what we're doing that for? Or is Eggman haunting the narrative? You know what I mean? Let's say I'm wary of the situation. Okay. As you can tell by my tone, I'm really adverse to that happening. It's a trope that I avoid. Because I don't particularly like angst, which is weird, but meh, I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah. Minecraft announced some newer things in their Minecraft Live regarding an update. It's not a whole lot, really. It's a singular biome, a mob, and new blocks, basically. But there are going to be sulfur caves. So as you can imagine, there will be sulfur. Okay. And it will be causing a harmful effect if you're breathing it in. Basically, which is really interesting. I wonder if there's a way to get around that. Maybe some new enchantments or something like that. And then there's a sulfur cube, which is a mob. And it's very interesting, but I will more on that later, as they say. More on that later. And then one of my housemates was really excited because another thing you find in sulfur caves is a very special material, a very special rock, if you will, called cinnabar. And cinnabar is very dangerous because it has mercury in it, and that is very, very toxic and deadly. Interesting to put it in Minecraft. Interesting to make building block equivalents for it as well. I do really like the look of the biome. I feel like it does need a little more. It doesn't quite feel like a full update, and I really wish they would do something with the end, maybe. Something with the end would be nice. But you know, I'll take it. But I do really like the chiseled cinnabar. It's got a little, what looks like a cinnabar beetle on it, which is a bug. But yeah, I'm realizing, y'all, as I'm sitting here talking, I'm realizing I'm low energy, and I apologize for that. I got my nervous energy to kind of scoot for me to be able to, you know, lock in and film, but now I'm kind of petering out a little bit, so I gotta lock in. Okay. What else do I have on here? I really need like a little thing to indicate. Okay, I talked about that and that. I did not talk about this. Talked about that and those two things. Okay. And I do think I mentioned this a couple weeks back, maybe even further beyond that, because I don't remember when it was announced, but Megan Thee Stallion is going to be a key character in Moulin Rouge on Broadway. Hot girl Broadway debut, if you will. And I'm really excited for that because it's all the promotional material that's out for it is really good. But I'm also just excited because it doesn't feel super common nowadays to have a big artist go and do something that, in comparison to what they normally do, feels kind of small. And I literally just said that about Broadway, but you know what I mean. Like, worldwide renowned music artist taking some time to do just a Broadway musical. You know what I mean? And I love that. That's very good energy. I might talk a touch more about that later. Let's see here. Ooh, Final Fantasy's new mobile game, Dissidia Delum, came out. It's difficult, and there are some very interesting choices. Like, it seems that a lot of the story elements are locked behind basically a battle pass. And for a gacha game, you really can't be locking your story behind a pay to play thing. But I do think this game will probably last a little bit longer than people are thinking. Also, Square Enix might genuinely take that criticism and change things. The game did literally just come out. I like the little bit that I've played it. Of course, I immediately, when it gave me the option to keep pulling for a character until I got the one I wanted, of course, I waited until I got Prompto and like things like that. He's really difficult to play, though. I had a way easier time with Lightning. And Lightning's my homegirl, but there's a limit to the homegirl. You know what I mean? And I wanted to try a character I really liked. But I think I'm going to be switching over to Kain because I just got better things for that character. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I feel like I don't have a solid opinion on it yet, but I do like what I've done in the game so far, if that makes sense. And then I've got two more things on here. Some new images from Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. We've got a couple things. You can choose the gender of your character, of course. You can choose their dating preferences, and you can choose their pronouns all separately. And you can choose which event outfits they wear. You can choose the more masculine event outfits, the more feminine event outfits, and that includes wedding outfits. Or you can click a button that says either is okay. Dog, I'm going to be selecting that one for myself. Thank you very much. Mainly because the plan I have for Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is that my self-insert character will not be getting married and will not be dating. So I don't really have to worry about which thing my character would wear to a wedding. Sorry, for their wedding, because they won't be in one. But I don't know. I'm excited about it. It's really, all the outfits are cute. And then another thing is that you can choose if your Miis have real world relations to each other. Okay? Not just ones related to your lookalike Mii. Which is great because, you know, it used to be that if you had maybe like Gladio and his little sister in Tomodachi Life, there was no way to tell the game that those characters were related, which means that they could try to date each other, which is not allowed. Thank you very much. They have fully fixed that. I don't think they originally thought in the original Tomodachi Life, I don't think they thought that people would be putting in as many fictional characters as they did. Not really, because I feel like they would have thought of that otherwise, but yeah. And then my final thing on here, very exciting. I've probably mentioned it once or twice, but there was an AI model, we'll say, called Sora AI that was purely for generating videos, and it was way too lifelike. And of course, you know, immediately there were being a lot of, you know, lawsuits and shit. I've got the best news in the world. Sora AI is shutting down. Not only are they shutting down, but because they are shutting down, their collaboration with Disney is null and void. It will not exist anymore. This is absolutely huge. It sounds like the AI bubble is well on its way to popping, because there have been some lawsuits in the past week as well, across, you know, different models, but it really feels like the bubble is popping, and I'm really excited about that. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the pyramid. And it's a silly, goofy pyramid, just like the rest of this episode, you know? First up on the pyramid, and let me get a little info blurb about it to make sure I'm not being giving out false okay, yeah. Okay, so I had to pull up something on the first thing on the pyramid, because first up on the pyramid is the sulfur cube from Minecraft. I wanted to pull up the official tweet from Minecraft to make sure I don't say anything that's not true about it. And they referred to it as chaos cubed in the tweet, but the sulfur cube is a mob that evolves based on what it absorbs: wood, ice, and beyond. The possibilities are endless. And there is a lot of there's a lot of different things you can do with it. In the video, they showed, you know, some sort of like almost volleyball looking game that they made using the sulfur cube. There's videos of people putting a piston inside of a sulfur cube and showing how the piston moves the slime and how the slime stops moving and things like that. It's really very interesting. You can basically use the sulfur cube to make a lot of mini games, which is very appealing to the Minecraft community, because, you know, aside from playing, you know, on a server or on a world, like a server with your friends, or a world by yourself, or with like a couple of people, play servers that are big, huge public servers, you know, like Hypixel and whatnot. Those all really depend on on mini games, and those mini games are always very popular. So it's nice to see something that is directly implementable in such a wide range of things that the community does. So that's fun. I know it's not the biggest update, and it's not like as much as we want to see in an update. And it's, you know, like I mentioned, I'd prefer to see something for the end, but like, you know, it is nice to just have some new things to look forward to at all. You know what I mean? Next up on the pyramid is Hela from Marvel Rivals specifically. And she's on here because it's specifically a new skin on the battle pass of her in a very punk rebel attire. That's the prettiest woman I've ever seen. Thank you very much. That is actually the entire tweet. So that's why Hela is on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid is Prompto. I did say that he was hard to play in Dissidia Delum, but it is very fun. He's got more moveset than is just visible with like the buttons, and I found that out on accident and I really liked it. And also I have a lot more Twitter mutuals now just because we all like Final Fantasy 15. So that's great. And that's why Prompto's on the pyramid. And yes, I know he's been on the pyramid a lot. Live and let live. You know what I mean? Next up on the pyramid, this one's really silly. I don't know what has changed with my attitude like the past month about, but I go through phases of liking different music, and it's very dependent on the season and the weather and things like that. And I guess it's probably because it's nice enough to go outside now, like for longer periods of time, and it's not too hot and it's not too cold. But I can only really describe the playlist I've been listening to as like endearing, but in a weirdo kind of way. So next up on the pyramid is Lemon Demon. And if some of you are unfamiliar by that name, I am talking about Neil Cicerega, but also liking Lemon Demon really signals a certain fandom to where you've been, but that's okay. Been listening to a lot of Lemon Demon lately. Really, I've spent a lot of time listening to Fine and Reaganomics, which is so funny, but it's really good stim music as well, and I think that's a big part of it. But I wanted to put Lemon Demon on the pyramid because that literally was like most of my day today was listening to Lemon Demon. Next up on the pyramid, is my little guy, Hangyodan. Hangyodan is my favorite Sanrio character. He was made in, I believe, 1985. And he's a little fish. He's a little, he's got like the hopeless romantic kind of personality type. And he likes to make other people laugh. So very endearing. That really do just be the theme of like pretty much everything on the pyramid, except for the top of the pyramid and Hela, because they're just on there because pretty woman, as it is. But everything else, I'm like, these are all really endearing things. And if I find something endearing, I automatically start to like it. So, you know, that also does go for people. But yeah, Hangyodan is my favorite Sanrio character. I wish he was in more things. Like, I go to Miniso and I look at the blind boxes, and he's in 2 of the Sanrio blind boxes, and there's 15 options. And he's only in 2 of them, and it's a blind box. So, I wish he was more popular in America. I know he's not as conventionally adorable as all the other characters, but he is very endearing and he's very cute. And I treated myself to a bunch of little things with him on on it, including like there's a couple scrunchies, you know, there's some hair clips that are in my makeup bag for theater, things like that. But that's why Hang Yeondan's on the pyramid. Also, his birthday was like the 19th. So that's why Hang Yeondan is on the pyramid. And then finally, top spot of the pyramid this week is Megan Thee Stallion. Absolutely, because she's taking on Moulin Rouge, which like, and I know obviously musically she can do it. She has the musical talent and singing prowess to do that musical, but it is also a lot of extra, like there's a lot of choreo and you have to do the choreo that's more difficult really than what some, you know, not all, but some stage performances do not have as intensive choreo as a musical does. So you have to be doing that more intensive choreo and singing and remembering your lines. So she's doing a lot of work. And I mean, she is the hottest person to be in Moulin Rouge, obviously. That's mostly in jest, but she is very pretty. So that's why Megan Thee Stallion is on the pyramid. Also, all the costuming that I've seen her in so far is beautiful. So, you know, that's a bonus. All right. That caps out our pyramid for this week. I've kind of been yapping y'all's ear off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to my partner for editing. Since I had more to do this week than I thought. And all of that stuff. We should be back on track for a normal amount of schedule this week, and everything should be fine there. After the theater show is done, I'll probably, well, yeah, I probably won't have anything for at least a couple months. So we will be on a super normal schedule for a while. And that'll be great. And maybe even my editor will get a fucking break. Because I'll actually have time. But, you know, like I always say, thank you all so much for watching. And thank you all for being so patient with the break I took last week for theater. It really means a lot to me that y'all are chill about it. And you know what? With that, I'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. And you know, I'll see you then. I'm excited to have more time and hopefully that means I'll have more to talk about as well. But I am excited to just chill out for a little bit. So thank you all so much. And I'll see y'all next week. Have a good rest of your weekend and have a good week next week. And I'll see y'all next Friday. So bye, y'all. I'll see you then.